You know, kind of like the tears. No, on a real note, this isn't even like a hate video. This isn't like me trashing the Chiefs. I know I like doing it a lot, but it's not. At the end of the day, this is a praise video for Mike Pennel, and this is a thank you to the Kansas City Chiefs for giving us an absolute animal of a defensive tackle moving forward and helping us out in the one area that we always seem to struggle with, which is our run defense. So this isn't even a hate video, Chiefs fans. I know it's not. It is actually a thank you. A thank you for actually giving us something good. You know, other than the AFC Championship game where we beat you, the second one we should have beat you. Anyway, wait, what am I saying? Okay, no, never mind. This is not a hate video. So, this was posted by Gridiron Grading. Mike Pennel had the highest stop rate, 19%, among defensive linemen with 20-plus snaps in Week 1, per NFL Plus. No surprise the Bengals had one of the best run defense performances in the league versus the Browns. The guy is as strong as it gets in the middle. And this is a Chiefs fan on a Chiefs forum posting this. So you can see it says Kansas City Chiefs, home of the red, white, and gold, right? So this is a Chiefs Reddit page that's posting about this. First comment is the run defense really wasn't the problem in the Chargers game. Obviously, they're saying that even if they had Mike Pennel, which keep in mind, they just cut him. That's how we got Mike Pennel. Even if they had him, it wouldn't have changed anything because they couldn't stop the air raid from, the Chargers. But for the most part, again, I still can't believe the Chargers didn't charger it up. I am still shocked by that. I would have bet all my money that, in the end, it would have been they came back. Next one. So glad we could make the Bengals stronger. Now, that one I feel like was said with some tears. That one I feel like there was some, pain behind that right there. He says, I'm a Mike fan, but also it was the Browns are having some running back issues. Really? I don't know. The running backs looked pretty good in that game. Well, they didn't look good because of us, but their running back core isn't really that bad. And we just obviously took care of business across the board. I'm sure Mike will continue to do well, but I doubt it will be as well. Had to face Lamar and Henry twice this year still. Yeah, but that's not to the end of the season, pretty much. Week 11 and Week 14, I believe. So the next couple of weeks, Mike Pennel is going to, help out. And TJ Slayton, I think it's going to be out without being seen. That's not the saying. 1-2 punch. TJ Slayton, BJ Hill, and Mike Pennel. All of them together just makes the perfect formula for a run-stopping duo. Bro, mess speaking today is not it. Also, I'm sure he had some motivation to go out there and improve something after getting cut. I'm curious to see how long he can sustain that, though. Bro, why y'all haters? Like, you guys are just haters on my man Mike Pennel. The irony is in this post is the run defense was the least problematic group in the last game. Yeah. But again, even if that's the case, it's always nice to have a little extra guy in there who can also help out and do the job, right? Even if you're like, well, the run defense really wasn't the problem, it was the pass defense. Well, it's nice to have a little extra guy in there that can get the job done. And I'm sure if Mike Pennel was still in the Chiefs, he would still be very successful. And he would still help out a lot for them. So, yeah. He says, I know he's not a long-term solution, but we also don't have a long-term solution. Letting him go makes no sense. He wouldn't take anyone's spot. All right, so now we're getting into the goods. Now we're getting to the Chiefs fans that are like, wait, hold up. Hold up, we can't just write this one off. We can't just say that this was a okay thing to do. Yeah, no. On the real note, losing him was definitely a mistake. And letting him hit free agency. We didn't pay him stupid money either. They could have definitely got him back in some capacity. I don't know if I agree with some of these fans. I'm so frustrated with this roster building lately. It ain't cheap keeping Mahomes protected. Pennel was playing on and around a veteran minimum contract. Rostering him, not rostering him, isn't a factor in regards to not having money for the offensive line. Agreed. You think with all the money we're spending on the offensive line, they're also able to run block or at least be able to take 6 penalties a game. Yeah. Again, like I just said, made my point right there. He's not costing that much money. So you guys got rid of him just to get rid of him. This wasn't a money issue. This was a you just didn't want him on your team anymore issue. And now you're watching him go somewhere else and eat. It just happens to be the Bengals who are the one benefiting from this situation. You can credit a lot of penalties to Taylor, which is stunk cost at this point. Besides, we spent money and drafted linemen with pass blocking first round and second round. But I've told this sub that salary cap doesn't exist because Veach is a magician, okay? Pennel would make zero difference in the Chargers game. Outside Herbo's run that killed us. That's also another funny thing. So the last play of the game was a 3rd and 14, and they allowed Herbo to run for 19 yards. Now, would, Pennel have stopped that in theory? Probably not, because he did get to the outside, and I don't think Pennel was going to be able to get to the outside fast enough to shut down that run. But it is, it is kind of ironic how in the end it ends up being that. I like Pennel, but he does one thing, and so far we aren't hunting for that one thing. All roster decisions obviously matter, but his significance on the roster is that arguing between running back and who can neither catch nor block. So he's kind of making the argument that the Ravens did with Keaton Mitchell. So the Keaton Mitchell against the Bills was inactive. You don't know who Keaton Mitchell is? He's an undrafted running back. I really wanted the Bengals to take him a couple years ago. We ended up taking Chase Brown instead. I'm very happy with Chase Brown, but I really wanted Keaton Mitchell. He ended up going undrafted and going to the Ravens. Sucks so bad. But he literally, in that Bills game, he was inactive. And the reason why John Harbaugh said was because, he really is only good at running. He's not really amazing at catching. He's not amazing at blocking. And that if they do put him in, then the defense will know that they're running the ball, because there's really only one situation you're going to put Keaton Mitchell in, is if you're going to use him as a pure running back. So that's also a factor too. Like, again, like I said, listen, it's not a hate video. I know it's weird. I know it's weird. Queefs. Anyway, sorry, my bad. That was like an oxymoron or something like that. Anyway, but that is true. You do have to utilize. But at the same time, when someone's so good at a craft like Mike Pennel is, I do understand, like, you don't want to raise the roster spot, but you also want it to a certain degree. You don't want to let guys like that go. Like, you can't afford to. Because there's always a situation when you need someone in a 3rd down and 1, in a 4th down and 1, where you need a guy who can shut down the run. And even if they're, more one-dimensional, and we say this all the time with Trey, although Trey, still good in run defense, but he's not the greatest. Ranked 67th last year among edge rushers in run defense. But still, I mean, he's not obviously awful, but he's purely a pass rusher. That's what he's good at. That's what his skill set is, and that's what he thrives in. So, but again, he's not that much of a run defender, right? So, but he's so good at that position, you just got to take it. You just got to say, okay, well, we're just going to go with that guy, and we're going to see how he does. It is also a reason why with, like, Mitchell Tinsley Jr., I was kind of surprised at first that he made the roster because of the fact that he's really just a receiver. Isaiah Williams, the reason why Isaiah Williams made the roster last year, and I thought might make the roster this year, but he didn't in the end, was because he's also really good on special teams. And when you can do a little bit of both, that's when you're going to make a roster. If you can make yourself useful outside of the one position that you're playing, you can make a roster and you can be very successful. So disappointing, man. How can we be spending money this much, spending much less than most franchises with stud quarterbacks, but still have no money to add quality pieces? Chiefs in self-sabotage mode, absolutely ridiculous. What a love Pennel, but he wasn't making a tackle on Ladd McConkey in stride 5 yards past. Yeah. And also, it's like, I will give them credit. Mike Pennel is also not a pass rusher. So we'd be having a different conversation if Mike Pennel was a pass rusher going after the quarterback, because then you could make the argument, well, he would get to the quarterback. He would stop this pass from happening. He would be able to get to the quarterback. And, well, yes, again, you're not going to, a good secondary, you need a good secondary. But at the same time, you can kind of go with the Alabama route, where their D-line is so good that their secondary doesn't have to hold for that long, which makes their secondary better. This place is wild. We lost 2 games, and everyone's thinking our front office and coaches are idiots. Well, now that you mentioned it, no, I will never understand this move. That's point where, because of consistent success, you believe you're so much smarter than everyone else, then you become a fool. Don't worry, guys. Trust in Veach, whatever. That hurts. I really thought we were going to roll with Nandi and Pennel, but I'm guessing it was a numbers game, and we thought we could grab him off the couch in a month. Letting go Pennel was puzzling move, but interior defense line isn't a problem. Yeah, we are. Yeah, what are we doing here? Always liked him. Was there all preseason? Probably on vet minimum. It's the Browns. If Saquon gets 200 yards on Sunday, he'll get 200 yards then. What? That might be the stupidest thing I've ever read. If Saquon gets 200 yards on Sunday, well, he'll get 200 yards then. Are they saying that, like, the Chiefs, like, coaches are going to be like, well, it is what it is, pretty much? I guess that's what they're going for there. Like, they're going to just be like, well, it is what it is. Like, we just allowed that. Could we have stopped it? Yes, by keeping Mike Pennel, but obviously we didn't. I guess that's what he's meaning by that. But, okay, yeah. So that was Chiefs fans responding to losing Mike Pennel. Overall wise, I think we got ourselves a humongous W player. Very happy and excited for him, and happy he is doing very good in Cincinnati, where he is welcomed to stay. Because he actually just got signed. Because he went from the practice squad to the active roster, he then goes back to the practice squad Monday morning of this week, and we just signed him back to the active roster. So Mike Pennel is back for another week.